Greetings and welcome to Order In. I'm gonna put my meat in your buns. That's right, it's time for Order In pork buns. These pork buns come together just as easily as all the rest of the doughs we've ever made. It begins. 2 cups of flour with a half a teaspoon of salt. 1 packet of dry active yeast. 3 tablespoons of oil. 1/4 of a cup of sugar. 1 egg, soon to be beaten. And 1 vessel, soon to contain a half a cup of water, and various other ingredients. Which were already mentioned, so I'm not sure why I tried to make them special. We're going to get a half a cup of warm water into that cup, and then dissolve the sugar and yeast into it. We're going to let that sit for about 10 minutes, or until the top of it becomes frothy. In the other bowl, we're going to beat that egg softly, and then mix in the oil. There's no real reason to mix in the oil first, it just makes it easier to mix together later. Whisk together the flour and salt and make a well in the middle with a spatula tool. Add the other 2 wet mixtures and stir that together. Once it comes together and looks a little like this, get it dumped out onto your work surface and smush into it for a solid 15 minutes. The more you knead, the less you need to worry. When the dough starts to look like this, we're going to get it rounded off and into an oiled bowl and covered in cling film. Let that rise for about an hour or 2 or until doubled in size. While the dough rises, it's time to make a barbecue sauce. In a medium saucepan on medium heat, get 1 large diced onion in there with some fat or oil and add a heavy pinch of salt. We're going to cook these down until they look something like this. I'm quite sure you know how to do that. And then we're going to add our spices. We got some paprika, some ground pepper, some ground mustard seed, garlic powder, and a boom of cinnamon. Wake up those spices in the hot oil for a minute or 2, and then we're going to add our apple cider vinegar, molasses, and ketchup. Mix well and try not to eat all of it out of the pan. To finish off the filling, I'm using some leftover pulled pork. I'll give you 2 guesses where that came from. Get these mixed together, and may I present you with the Order In gross food noise of the day. Once risen, turn out the dough onto your large clean work surface and cut it into 12 pieces. Taking each piece into your hand, roll it to pop any excess air bubbles, and then slam it into the counter. With a rolling pin, we're going to smush these into the counter just off center, leaving kind of a bump in the middle. This is going to help keep them even when we dose them out. Pull them up onto your hand and pull out the edges to a roughly round shape, and fill with the filling. Pinching them together is pretty easy. I just take 2 sides and pinch them, take 2 other sides and pinch them, take 2 other sides and pinch them, and do it 1 more time. Finally, we put it through an egg wash, which is just 1 beaten egg with about a half a teaspoon of water, and into a preheated 400-degree oven for about 15 minutes, or until they look like this. Now I know you're going to want to eat these the way I've made them today, but let me let you know that these things can be filled with absolutely anything and still be tasty. Toss a little bit of mozzarella and some cooked bacon, serve with a side of marinara, and you've got homemade pizza pocket, hot pocket things. No matter how you shape them up, this is definitely one for the ages. Pork bun! Insert joke about my buns here. Thanks for watching, and remember, why order out when you can hang out and order in?